Yeah, I was actually like thinking of pain, like when I started this podcast,
Why were you
like
thinking of pain?
because I'm kind of in pain right now. Like
How are you in pain?
it's like okay, so sometimes every now and then I'll drink coffee for like consecutive days, and then today is like my green tea. You know, I just drank green tea in the morning, but it does elicit like a pain response because my body like is craving coffee. It wants it.
I think you can easily get over that if your body wants the coffee not just because it wants caffeine, but because it wants to feel alert. And it makes you, without the caffeine, it makes you feel sluggish. But if you wake up, the way that I overcome that is, and this is with me still drinking coffee, but I use coffee purely as a performance thing, let's say, where I want to push my mind to that higher level of alertness to do whatever kind of task. But if you wake up and you feel groggy, dude, 10, 15, 20 minutes of yoga or cardio,
I
whatever
did
kind
that.
of workout,
I
and you
did
still
yoga.
feel,
It did help. It did help. Yeah. It's just like it's like a mind thing, kind of like it did help. That I'm gonna go like I could go run 3 miles and that'll definitely do it. Like that'll like
oh
factory
yeah,
reset, boot, like boom.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that you said though you experimented with coffee because you said didn't you say you like dialed back on coffee a little bit?
Yeah, I did. It was,
Because you drank it like hardcore at one point. Like it was like coffee,
oh yeah,
breakfast, second breakfast, lunch,
yeah.
afternoon
Oh,
snack, dinner.
when I first started working, I was drinking coffee maybe like 6, 7 cups a day, just downing it. There was a point to where I wasn't ever not drinking coffee, like throughout the day, throughout the work day. But obviously dialed way back from there
Wait, so
because,
there was a point where you drank coffee from sunrise to sunset.
well, no, not after like when I was working. Every part where I was
Okay.
working, I was drinking coffee.
Well,
I'm drinking coffee right now.
so what time was that? Like that was from like what time to what time?
That was when I just got into real estate and I worked for 45 days straight from, waking up. At that time I was waking up at 4:30, which is too early. But now it's a lot more like 5:30. 5 is a huge difference to 4:30 and whatnot. But yeah, I worked for 45 days straight doing that, and it was during some kind of Mardi Gras celebration. I was over at Tripp's house, our friend, and I literally passed out while standing up. Like I fainted.
Really?
That's how that's the toll that it had on my body. I
Oh my
pushed
gosh.
myself so far
Did
that
you
my
like
body actually
stand up?
gave out. Yeah, I stood up too
You
quick.
stood up, then you passed out.
Yeah, I was laying down and I had just come from work. Like I was in a suit. And I was on his couch and I was feeling just super drained. I was like, oh, I probably need to get some food or whatever. It's fine. And I stood up whenever he got out of the shower or something and we were about to leave. And you know that thing where you stand up and your blood rushes to your head and like you get that tunnel vision, everything goes black? It
Mhm.
was like that, except you know how there's always just like a little bit of light that you'll see even when it does do
went
that?
dark.
That went dark. And I remember I woke up on the ground like almost like I must have just fell straight down because I was on my knees and my arms were in front of my face. And I was like, it was weird. And I looked up at Tripp and I said, what just happened? And he was like, he thought, he was, oh, dude, I thought you were being funny or something. I thought you were trying to do something.
Like, oh no, no, dude, like I fainted. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, it was weird.
he's like, you trying to be funny, Garrett? You being a funny guy right now? You trying to
Yeah,
play one on me?
it was weird. That was the only time that ever happened to me. But I realized,
Did
oh,
you?
like,
So I've had that before. Did you like appendages kind of like spaz a little bit? Like you kind of felt like
yeah. It was
Yeah,
like
it was like- it was
he
like a
said it looked like
seizure.
a seizure.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what he
yeah.
said it looked like. Yeah, but it was literally, it was just my body gave out. It was like, dude, you need to chill.
So you
you're gonna
sank.
die.
You sank there,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
like collapse and like dong, like you just kind of sank forward into like
No, I
child's
probably
pose.
did. I probably did hit. Probably
Really?
hit the ground. Yeah. I think I didn't.
And you were
do
like-
it. I don't remember anything. So my body
Yeah.
control was given out.
Yeah, wow. So you were just like came to and you're like, what happened? I wonder how long. It was for like a second though, right? You didn't pass out for like a minute or something.
No, it was like 10 seconds maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how you know you pushed it too far. The body
Yeah.
was like, nope.
Yeah, and I encounter that still because the willingness to push it is always there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then you have to remind yourself of how, like, no, you are mortal. Like, you will, like, you have to actually take care of yourself. It's different than, like, oh, just be tough. It doesn't matter. It's like, no. Your body is weak. You actually have to maintain it. You have to rest.
be nice
you
to
have
it.
Yeah, you have to stretch. Like, you can't just push it for vanity's sake or whatever like that. You have to.
That's like
give it what it actually needs.
Warren Buffett has like that was one of his famous things where he like got a room full of children and he was like, hey, if you could only pick one car to have the rest of your life, would you always make sure that car's oil is changed? Would you make sure it's waxed, it's clean and stuff like that? And he goes, and they're like, yeah, totally would do that if I could only have one car. And he's like, well, you only get one body in your life. So, make sure that thing is taken care of and
Yeah.
all the stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing too, is that I talk about that a lot, and I think about that a lot, or maybe not as much now, but there's an inclination when you're young to, think that I have to do everything right now or else it'll never happen. Like the window is very limited,
Yeah.
but that's just simply not true. I think of a much more healthy, mature perspective is that I have, and that's a concept of that book, Art and Fear, I just read. It's very, very good. But it's basically a book on, if you ever try to read a book on how to be an artist, they're trash. Because they go into like the meticulous parts of making something instead of actually just how to create. And one of the biggest concepts of it is, there's so many things I could unpack with it, but it's, no. The way that you are successful with your work is that you keep making your work and expanding on it. And that it's not that you have to, like, yes, you need limitations on anything that, you don't want to just have an open-ended goal to where, oh, I could take the rest of my life to do it. Unless that is your goal, then it doesn't matter. But the perspective, what I'm trying to say is that you have forever to do it. You're not trying to do it because you have to hit this mark or whatever like that, or else it's not going to work out. It's all going to blow up in your face. You're doing it because you want to incorporate it as a part of your life. The success in doing whatever you want to do is in doing it, not in getting to the end place as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? At which pace it could be if your goal is to specifically compete with your competitors, but I think that a much more healthy perspective is to know I'm doing this for me. I'm competing with my own self. I'm trying to get better rather than trying to beat somebody.
Yeah. Who are you doing it for? One of the things that I see, and it's like when it comes to that thing, it's a fine dance, because I'm gonna say something where I'm like, basically you should deny yourself, but at the same time you can't deny yourself. It'd be like this, like if anything you do, like, are you doing it for self satisfaction and gain, or are you doing it for like your children's children? And even if like you don't have necessary children, you could just say, oh, well, I'm doing it for like the future, children, the future children, even though they're not my children. So it pretty much, it offloads the burden of like, oh, I need to do, or maybe it's even like an idea of like a thirst for fame and gratification kind of thing.
I think everybody has that when they're young.
Yeah, like I need to be noticed, like I need to be world renowned for this. It's like, okay, but then like why you're doing it is your principles are skewed. And it's like even if you got lucky per se and you got fame and recognition, because you're doing it for that, you're never going to be like satisfied in a sense. Like even though you have it, like you could have it all and like you still wouldn't be satisfied or at peace.
Dude, have you ever seen the Treasure of the Sierra Madre?
No.
Caroline and I just watched it last night. I love that movie. I've seen it before. It was written by, if I remember correctly, it was written by a German. He only wrote 3 books ever. All 3 of his books were made into movies, and he published everything under a pseudonym. So we actually don't even know who he is. Like, he just wrote the books to get them out there and never accepted any kind of recognition for it. Nobody knows who he is. He died anonymous. Isn't that crazy? But anyway, it was
crazy. Yeah.
If you look on AFI, I didn't even realize this. It was rated as one of the top 30 movies ever made, which is hilarious because I just thought that it was a cool movie, like kind of niche. But it's like Humphrey Bogart, who's so good at it. He's awesome. Totally different. He plays like a crazy, greedy prospector. But basically, what it is, it's not like they're going after like a treasure chest, like is the classic trope of a treasure. It's these 3 men who are down and out outcasts in a Mexican city, way into Mexico, going after gold, like prospecting for gold, going after to actually dig and mine it out of the earth. And they get there, and the old man says in the beginning, well, I've been prospecting all my life. And they were like, well, how do you're right here with us. You're living in basically a homeless shelter. How do you have money? You're just with us. And he goes, yeah, that's because everybody who goes out looking for gold never keeps it. I've never seen a prospector die rich. All of them end up chasing fortune to greater and greater extents. They'll make one score and blow it all trying to get on another, because once you have gold and once you see gold, it drives you mad. That they'll go out with a specific goal in mind, saying, I'm going to leave once I have $25,000 worth. I'm going to leave once I have $50,000 worth. But then it keeps doubling and doubling and doubling. It's that you can't just be satisfied with what you have. You always need to get more now that you see it in front of you. Exactly. And that's when, in the end, the character, he ends up, basically, it's 3 of them. And you think that it's going to be the story is, it's about these men going and finding it, and that's the whole story, right? But no, it's actually the large portion of it is them battling like the mental warfare of going, like starting to not trust one another. Like, well, yeah. You see what I'm saying? They're like, well, where's my share? We need to hide all of our shares because one of us could, in the middle of the night, kill the other 2 and then leave with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's really, really good.
Dragon sickness.
Yeah, that's what it is. But that's the same thing. It's that, once if you go out chasing fame, if you go out chasing success, no matter what you would do, the minute that you would have it, the more that you're going to require to fulfill yourself, because the purpose is not making the work. The purpose is achieving recognition for it. And so there's no amount that would satiate that. You see what I'm saying? There's no quantifiable measure of of how to be satisfied. So that's why it's all about. Awesome. It's just about making it. Yeah. But I'm applying that just to us.
The author who wrote it just like dropped it and like no one knows who he was.
Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, I looked into him when I first saw the movie. And it was really interesting. it's all just based on books. All those movies, that's why they're so good. They're all based on great works of like great novels, great books.
Yeah. He just dropped wisdom and then expected nothing in return. That's like the as virtuous as you could, possibly get, really.
Yeah, you could say that that's the quintessential artist, right?
Yeah. Because it's all about what your principles are, what you're doing it for. But that sounds awesome. I'm totally check that movie out.
Yeah. No, you would love it. It's really, really good. And it starts out even like, oh, you think that it's going to, because it's made in like the 50s. And like, you're like, oh, maybe it's going to be one of these old time movies. But no, dude, it's good. It's good where it goes.
Yeah. That's what, that plays on. I was reading Seneca today too. And, I'm just rereading him again because he's so good. But he was like, basically, the wise man wants nothing but has many needs, whereas like the fool wants many things but he never gets them, like, or something like that along those lines.
Yeah. I need to go back into philosophy. I kind of got burnt out on philosophy for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the root of it, because it's like, for me, that's like the real battle of things, because it's like, if you don't have your core right, it's going to just leak into, other areas. Like that's like the core, in a sense, is like, what are your principles? Why do you do what you do? For what reason are you making your art? Is it for you? Is it for, fame? Is it for, because you love life? Is it for God? I mean, there could be so many different, philosophies and ideas and things like that.
Yeah. I think for myself, it's that. Oh, somebody's calling me. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
I think it's, for myself, I would say it's like the art. If nothing ever came of it, I would still be satisfied. But I want to be successful. I want to make my work into a business, because I believe that, kind of what we were talking about last time, I believe that it would be very beneficial for those people who would be able to read it. And I believe that in order to, let's say, like, that could be like, you consider your vocation, your occupation, your vocation, your passion, all that kind of stuff. I believe that in order, basically, to be successful is the only way to actually get the message across out there to people.
That's where that line I was talking about, that you dance, it's like you in a sense have to take pride in yourself, or you'll never push yourself to where you can be. But at the same time, you don't want to like be only self-absorbed. But you do have to like take pride in yourself. Like, no, I can do this. I am this. I do have, my message is, worthy of sharing with lots of people and stuff like that. And that's like that delicate line between like the self and the selfless, in a sense. Yeah.
That's a very interesting thing to consider, is because in Western, like, there's so many different ways to unpack it. Like, there's the idea of the ego, which is viewed as bad, but really the ego is just like your projection of yourself. And, you would think that I want to be as free from all those kind of things as possible, to be as tapped into the truth as I could possibly be. But there is a part of artistry where you can tap into just like the all, like that, the genius of all, and trying to extract that, but it could be maybe a little bit chaotic. But no, there is a part of artistry where it's like, no, this is me as well. Like, this is me. I'm putting myself into this work.
Otherwise, there'd be no distinguishing between anybody.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. Like, you look at somebody like Michael Jordan, or some of these artists, whatever, like that. Like, Michael Jordan was a maniac. Like, he took everything so personally. Everything was his. Obviously, like, his strive for greatness. Like, he was like, no, dude, I'm going to be the best out of everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever going to beat me. And so there's a dance to be done with that, where it's like, oh, what if you do go fully into that, but you could also lose yourself to that as well?
Yeah, you
Because what
fly
does it
too
even mean
close
to
to
be
the
the
sun.
best? Yeah. It's very easy to, in an athletic competition, to say, well, that guy's just the best. He has the best numbers. He just won. But you can't do that for art. You know, it's so much more. It is objective, you could say, but it's viewed in so much more of a in a subjective way.
Yeah,
It's
because
viewed
you
in
could
so much more. Yeah.
you could seriously isolate yourself by being like, I am, like, basically, if you get to the point where you're basically like, I am God. Like, that's essentially like you go all the way to the tip top of like, no, I am God. And then you could like seriously harm yourself, isolate yourself if you like reach that level. But it's
that guy would be
interesting,
like sell a soul to the devil. Like,
Yeah.
make me.
But then, I mean, Muhammad Ali was like, I'm the best, and people say he was the best. So
Say
there's
that
like,
Michael Jordan. People say that about a lot of things. When people say they're actually the best, those kind of people. That's a different breed.
yeah. I like the.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that is.
Fine line.
It's useful. How about that? It's a useful way to look at yourself. It can be used very well, but it can also be very deadly.
Yeah, I guess it's like, it's a dance. I mean, it's a battle. You want to try to keep it as center as you can, balanced as you can. But like, you need both elements. You need the ego, I guess, to
I
drive.
think it would really be if you could separate the two. Like, in your life, you are that, I don't know even what you would call it, the opposite of an egotist. But I think in your work, you might need to incorporate that a little bit more. You might need to put a little bit more of that kind of
that's like
edge
flavor,
into it.
Yeah, that's like flavor.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, what would distinguish you from anybody if everyone was just the same in a sense? Your ego
And at the
is
same
what,
time, if you didn't have anything unique about it, that would be the best of what you could do, then why would you even do it? What would be the purpose of it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Unless you're just doing it, idly. But I think if you want to be serious, you want to say like, no, man, this is me. I'm the best at what I do. And that's final, period.
Ooh, what about this? I think this is a good way. What if you're like, I have to be the best because people depend on me to be the best? I feel like that's like a way healthier like outlook than being like, just like, John McCoy am the best incarnate. Like, it'd be like, I have to be the best because my family needs me to be the best, because future generations need me to be the best. That's why I'm the best, because it's like a selfless, I guess, place to be the best, rather than just like the image of like, I best.
No, I think that is it. I think you just hit it, because
it's like iPhone.
If you want
I best,
me. Because if you want to have that influence, if you want to be that positive light in the world, then you're going up against the monsters. You're going up against the world itself in order to actually put your stamp on it and say, here's what I have to offer. And so you do have to have that. And it is, I think that is like a selfless pursuit, is that the only way that it'll ever work if it is the best. Mediocrity does not slide. If you are coming from nothing, mediocrity does not slide. If you already have resource, if you already have all the connections, then mediocrity can slide. But for us, coming from the bottom, no, it has to be. If you want to actually penetrate through, you need to be prolific, but you also have to be that laser sharp.
Yeah, that razor's edge.
Yeah.
Brah. Yeah. All right, now I'm pumped up. I'm gonna go run, do push-ups, maybe write a novel.
Are you writing still?
Yeah. Slowly.
How often?
I mean, that's
do you
like
write?
that. Pretty much for me, writing has been compartmentalized as like a luxury, just like, something I like to do whenever I have time, because I'm having to do,
So playing music
running my dad's business, because of like, I've gone into so many things I don't know, has taken so much of my time, combined with, the little job I work. That's taken a ton of time. That's why, I came to that enlightened conclusion we talked about the other day, where I was like, yeah, I'd rather own, a company at a good price that owns the properties, so I don't have to deal with it. Because real estate is hands on, like hands.
I'm aware. That's my line of work. I'm with you.
No, I'm gonna finish my book. It's just a slow cranked process. And I'm trying to, I don't know. I'm working on, it's not my number one priority, let's say. I mean, some people could say that it should be, it's not. I'm definitely focusing a lot on my body health too, of like running and doing that. Cause there was a while where I think I let my body get like the desk job, sitting there, not doing a lot of exercise, and like started to feel that. So.
No, here's what I have to say to that. I talked with Debo a lot yesterday. That's how we ended the call. I believe, and you could go into so many different philosophers who say very similar things, like Plato, but there is the objective truth that no matter, every single person who's ever been born has access into that. You can call that your conscious, you can call that whatever you want, but that is like man's connection to God, to the infinite. And at every single moment of your life that you've ever been alive, you know objectively what is the best thing possible for you to do in that moment, in the future, and no matter what. Right now, you know the best way for you to be. And throughout all of our lives, we either live up to that or we don't. And because, we're lazy, we have other things that direct us in other kind of directions, all that kind of stuff.
I'm definitely lazy. I've already dude, I came out with that so hard. I was like, you lazy son of a bitch.
No, everybody has that.
I've hit it. Yeah.
Everybody has that. Nobody can be that. Nobody can live that way unless they're Jesus or a saint.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Nobody can actually embody that all the time. But everybody knows it. Whenever we get off this call, what's the best thing for you to do? And you're either going to do it or not. You're going to be like, because those voices will come in like, oh, maybe I'll do something else. Maybe I'll do this. But that
pressure's on.
That's right. But you know that not only for the moment, you know that for the future as well, the projections. You know where you fell off in the past, where you could have been doing that objective best thing for yourself in those big decisions. And that is how God calls people to follow him in that way. It's not that he whispers in your ear like a lot of people think, or it's not how it's like this like lightning bolt coming down from the sky. Could be that, but I believe that you already know what it is, and you either follow that path or you don't. And that doesn't mean...
you could say that divine intelligence is God, so it almost is like a whisper in a sense. You see what I'm saying? Like,
that's right.
It almost is a whisper because that divine intelligence comes from a place of life, and God is life. So like that is him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that's what I would say to anybody when they're saying, well, like I should be doing this, I should be doing that. You know what you actually need to be doing. And that's all that matters. You can't ever compare yourself to other people and what they're doing. There's only one thing that's best for you, and that's what you need to do. It doesn't matter what anybody's doing around you. And so what I would say for your book, it's if you're having to do this for your dad's business and you have all these things else going on in your life, you apply it to anything, then that is what you need to be doing. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that there's no definitive period of time that you have to do whatever by. It's that, no, I have to do this. And that's simply it.
I have self-proclaimed, though, that I am de facto lazy. Like, I am, in fact, lazy. Like, it's actually good to like, say it. It gives power to the soul to be like, nope, I do have laziness problem. And now I can do things to overcome that laziness problem. But there's definitely...
like you put measures in place. I have that too, though. Everybody has that. Everybody has
so lazy. I get my cream cakes, dude, It's honestly like an American thing because we have so much wealth in a sense. It's like I got all my cream cakes and my sugar, and like I'm just gonna sit here and just indulge in my cream cakes and sugar.
It's just because you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You don't have to get up and do whatever. Yeah. It's so easy not to. Dude,
food incarnates all around me in Louisiana. It just I don't even have to do anything, dude. It just comes. It's a miracle, dude. It just comes out and gets put right in front of me, and they're like, "Eat."
And you do.
It just comes. Like there's no like, "Oh my God, where am I gonna get food?" Like that does not exist. And you know, you can't blame me for that. I mean, I was born into that. I mean, I guess that's the luxury of being American or something. But yeah, dude, it comes.
That's what I was going to say, though, is that that's what Debo and I were talking about. In a place like Los Angeles, even in New Orleans, but in these like urban environments, it's very easy to distinguish where right and wrong are, because you could say, well, it's so hard to live in those places because there's so much negative influences around you. But at the same time, you can just blatantly call it out. You don't have to actually search or go hunting for it. It's like, oh, there it is. Yeah, that naked person, like in a devil costume or something like that, as a DJ. That's what Debo is saying. That actually happens. It's like, oh yeah, no, okay. There we go. That's the devil. We can all go home.
Devil's the
no
DJ.
Problem. That's right.
Oh no! What are we gonna do?
Yeah. Oh no, we just leave. It's easy. Yeah. We just don't have to be a part of it. It's so clear. The lines are so clear in the sand. But in a place like Mandeville, in a place like this, it's a lot more subtle. It can maybe be harder to sniff out the negative influences, and so it could be even more pervasive, maybe because it's like hidden in plain sight.
Yeah. It's like, oh wait, he's got horns and a all red outfit. He's the DJ. Oh damn, the devil's the DJ.
No, this is what he was saying. It was literally a rave where it was basically, I think he said goth prom night was the theme, and the DJ was just butt naked on the stage, like basically flailing around. Dude, things that he was saying were just awful for what they were having. He said there was one of them that was like, one of the themes was Jesus loves porn stars. Think about that.
Ooh.
Think of how terrible. Yeah.
Well, he technically does, but like
no. Debo was saying that this guy was
like
this guy was literally like a blatant like Satanist.
Yeah. He technically does love porn stars, but it's a fine nuance, because it's like, but are you encouraging, like that could be a finesse of the devil so easily, because it's like, oh, but you're like you're justifying, like, because Jesus loves porn stars, yeah, we're just gonna do it. We're gonna do porn stars to the max. It's like you're justifying doing idea was a bad. Because you get the free pass from Jesus.
Well, let me make it simple. Their idea wasn't really like a philosophical pursuit. It was more like a sex party, like a profane sex party.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. I saw that idea. I mean, that does go into the idea of Jesus. If Jesus loves you and forgives you for anything, therefore you can get away with doing anything. But then it's like, oh no, you don't have to burn yourself with fire to understand that fire is hot. The wise man hears the stories of the people who have burned themselves with fire, and so he does not burn himself with fire. Mm-hmm. That's the distinction. It's like you do not have to burn yourself with fire in order to understand that the fire is indeed hot. Mm-hmm. Like if you want to do that, sure. Like yes, Jesus will probably forgive you, but your skin might be ashen. You might have a soldering scar or something like that. That's that whole thing.
I think that's more like, what do they call that? Like invoking God or something like that. What's the term? Or putting him to the test. You know what I mean? Like if you're blatantly doing it with like going in, I don't know. What do I know though? I don't know shit.
Man, just discussing. Could be wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know anything.
But I think that's a good place to like end it, Garrett, because we get like short, boom, done.
Yeah, it's good. Well, we can
On
wrap
to the next
everything
one.
up. I wanna thank Onyx Coffee and Bayou Rum for one day sponsoring this podcast. We really, really
Oh, yeah.
appreciate your future support.
Yeah, I love the future sponsors. They're our greatest assets.
And everybody else, we really, really appreciate the support.
Yep. Love.
Well, cool.
All right.
Thanks,
Garrett.
everybody. Later.
That was a good one.